Hi guys, welcome to today's video. I am on my way to Canon to pick a camera, a beginner's camera. So for you guys who are looking to start this kind of thing, I mean, I'm still a beginner as far as I'm concerned. Most of the cameras I've been having are Nikon cameras, and I also use my iPhone to film. And I want to test this, and I'll give a review for the camera. I'll be going to Dubai this weekend, and I will want to vlog with it, and I also want to test it during this interview, see if it's something that I want to buy as I start, because right now I'm still in the early stages. Well, you know, it's really not about the camera initially, it's really about you learning how to use the cameras to do something, and so that by the time you're buying other cameras, you know what limitations the other cameras had. Otherwise, if you're starting, you do not know what limitations are there. You just point and shoot for now. But once you get to a point where you start editing, and if the camera work is actually bringing in money, that it pays for itself to buy something bigger, to do something more. And that's what I've seen many people starting. I know of a guy called Christian LeBlanc. He started a channel with just a GoPro, and he went around Southeast Asia with his GoPro, and eventually now the kind of camera gear he has, oh my goodness. If you're new here, please consider subscribing to my channel, hit the notification bell, and leave a like and a comment. How are you? Shelly! Cool. Thanks. Really appreciate it.
No problem, Willis. All the best.
So, here we are. We received some tripod, mic, and a camera from Canon. This is not a sponsored video, but I do thank Canon for giving me the EOS M50 Mark II to test and see if it's something I could consider buying in future. After using the camera to carry out 2 interviews on the entrepreneurship series, I left for Dubai. Hi. Hi, sir. This was my 4th visit to Dubai, 2nd time in 2022. I shot a new series on it, which will be very different from the series I did in March. Please look out for those videos. Morning guys, I am hoping to be able to meet up with the Canon guy here who's responsible for the cameras, because I'm working on a project to shoot a movie, and I'm hoping we'll be able to come to an agreement.
When it comes to attire, it's all up to you.
It's up to you, and based on the situation. It also makes sense. I mean, imagine if you had to come here in suit on a hot day like this.
Even my 20 years of working in this company.
20 years, wow. Okay. Yes.
I'll be turning 20 in, what date is today?
Today is 9th.
16 more days. Okay. And that's my 20th. I'm the oldest employee of this company now.
Middle East and Africa.
Middle East and Africa. I've seen so many changes, the evolution of the company.
Yes. Okay.
These are the rest of my colleagues from the,
Hi. Good.
from the other side.
Willis from Nairobi.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Same here. All right, good. Yeah.
Keyboard.
So
That's our managing director.
okay.
Within that photo video, that is where I belong.
Yeah.
We have what we call the pro product.
The pro. Yeah. Okay.
We're talking of our products from $1,000 and above.
Okay, $1,000 and above.
But these are mainly for the pros. We're talking about R5, R3, R5C.
Yes.
Then we have the Cinema EOS.
Yes.
We have cinema lenses. We have our PTZ.
Okay.
We also have security cameras.
Okay.
That belongs to pro imaging. We call it the pro imaging.
Okay.
The rest is the consumer.
So less than $1,000.
Yeah, less than 1,000. So the approach of that is more towards retail. Penetration. We don't need specialized people
Yes.
to sell.
Yes.
So mainly these are products, you put it in the shelf,
Yeah.
people will come, look at the product,
Yeah.
they pick it up.
Yes.
And if we're talking of a high value product in the pro imaging,
Yes.
you need to have specialized people
Yes.
because there are so many technicalities in the product
Yes.
that the consumer doesn't know,
Yeah.
but you need to explain that. We'll try to rework how those equipment that you will be needing later on. That's one of the things that I can commit to you with your project.
Yes.
I think you even took this one from Zelly.
Yes. That was an awesome session in building number 9 where Canon is based, and I can tell you learned so much in this time I've had with Mr. Raul Gabot. Very awesome discussion. We spent more time than I even expected, and discussed even the greatness of Dubai, the great things we are seeing here. So I'll also be doing product reviews. This is one of the first one. This Canon M50 Mark II. It's a beginner vlogger's mirrorless camera. It's the first mirrorless camera I'm using, and I will be testing it. I'll compare it with a GoPro, an iPhone 12 Pro, an old L820, as well as a D5300 Nikon. Ensure you put it on a tripod, all of them, so that it's not moving, and you can get a very good time lapse. For the Canon, you can change settings. So what you normally do is to go to menu, you go to the shooting option. Normally, as you see in this one, you have to change until the 4th bit, and then this is normally disabled when you start, but because I was using time lapse, I've picked it. So you need to enable it and then choose different scene. The first scene is for shooting moving subjects, such as walking people. Second one is for slowly changing subjects such as clouds, and then the third one is for slowly changing scenes. When you go in, you can set it up. You see, you can change the interval. You can go up depending on the number of interval. So this one, it's shot for almost 5 minutes at 1 second intervals, 300 shots, and then it gave you 12-second video clip. So that's what happened with time lapse. It took 5 minutes, but the clip will just last 12 seconds to stitch it together, and you can actually just play it directly just the way you do on the iPhone. Then I put it on 4K auto exposure. So this is interesting. You can have it fixed as per the first frame, that is if the lighting conditions are not changing that much, but if they are changing, then put it each frame so that it can auto expose, and it will be able to manage the exposure so that you don't have one shot where it's too sunny and it's overexposed. We go back, auto screen off. This is a good option. The iPhone remains on, and so it's also consuming battery. You have the option to shoot it as full HD or 4K, but normally when you put it as 4K you get to crop the image a bit. So on the iPhone, what you just normally do is scroll through the options from photo, portrait, panel. So you go to the first one and you choose time lapse, and then you just click on it like that, and it will be taking the shots. But anyway, it does a good time lapse as well. Even the GoPro is continuing. Let me see if we can play what we shot on this. After moving very fast in the time-lapse tests, it's time to slow things drastically down and now test the slow-mo of these cameras. In all these tests, I've done very little to change the look and feel of the footage, mostly just playing maybe slightly with the exposure, but in most cases the colors are just as they were captured by the camera. It's hard for most of us to actually gauge the difference between the different cameras. Only probably professionals will be able to pick them out, especially after synchronizing all the cameras to move at the same speed. However, there's some stuff that you can easily notice. For example, when we shoot 4K on the Canon M50 Mark II, the image was actually cropped. The zoom test, we will start with the iPhone. Right now it's on just the normal. You can zoom back. The good thing with the iPhone, you can do a wide shot like that, you can do a normal shot, you can do a two times zoom, and you can expand it until you get to 6 times the zoom. When you go to the Canon EOS M50 Mark II, how far can you zoom? Here you have an option of changing the lens. You can change the lens and use zoom lens, because this one is 15 to 45 millimeter lens. So if you have a 200 millimeter lens, you'll have even a greater zoom. The Coolpix L820 can do 30 times. Sorry, so let me go to like a car and see how far we can get. The only thing is actually you lose a bit of the resolution, so that's how far you can zoom with that. So if we compare the three of them, this is what you're getting. It would be good to have a zoom lens on the Canon, but it's more expensive as to the cost. So the Coolpix L20, the digital zoom, does a very good job, but yeah, clearly you lose the resolution. It would be good to have a zoom lens, because even in the iPhone you have an option of sticking another lens as well on top of it. Coolpix L820, you don't have that option. It just works with the zoom that it has. So clearly each camera has its advantages and disadvantages. And see, the GoPro, you can go with it in water, but so far I can't zoom with the GoPro and I'm recording. I use the Coolpix digital camera when I need to do zoom, though it's not the best. Like if you watch my videos when I was at Nairobi National Park and I needed to zoom in to the crocodiles and stuff that were very far, the L820 Nikon was good for such shots. It wasn't clear. I mean, quality wasn't the best. It's not like if you're using a zoom camera, but still, when you don't have a zoom camera, it is very expensive. The Coolpix digital camera is cheaper than buying another zoom lens, or use your ordinary phone like your iPhone. This would be your best bet as well, because even with the iPhone nowadays you can be able to add some zoom lenses on phones and use that to zoom. So the limitation of the 6x is not really there if you can get those lenses. Other thing I need to say is, I remember I went to shoot where there were some kids. This whole gadget becomes a bit scary for some people. It's scary when I'm walking in the mall, like I would not want to really remove this. And you know, I'm still, if you're a beginner, it means you still have that fear of walking around with a camera confidently speaking on it. And so it would be easier to do it on the phone, because it would look almost like you're doing a video call. And especially if you're in Dubai, where people know that you can do video calls, then you know you're recording something and you're going to send it. So people might just assume that's you having a conversation with someone on the other end, or you're recording a video to send, just the same way you do a voice note and send it. You see, like, this really means I'm a vlogger. I am, at times, is even considered professional in some situations, and you might get somewhere and people think, no, that's too pro. Maybe you need to have a permission to do that. But in certain scenarios, when you just remove the phone, you can be able to still shoot very good quality with the phone and not have those questions asked. For example, when we were at the Museum of the Future, I decided to pull out my tripod, which is a very small tripod, but the moment one of the security guys there saw it, I was like, hey, don't use that, because that will bring issues. Just don't use that. It was easier to use this, fun enough. They was like, yeah, that's okay, you can use that as long as you're holding it, that's okay. The iPhone 12 Pro, it's very stable, you know, just right off when you put it out. It has very good stabilization when you're walking, so that really works. I think if you're beginning and if you don't have the money, start with your phone. The phone is good enough. If you get a bit of money and you want to change a bit, because the problem with the phone, it's also a camera, it's your laptop, because you can do emails on it, it's your GPS, it's so much. It's not just a phone. And maybe at times when people wonder why people are always on their phones, because they're not on their phones, they're on their smart portable device, which is so many things. They could be right now writing emails, so they are not on their phone, they are on their computer at that time. They could be trying to get some location to where they're going, so they are not on their phone, they're on their GPS. They could be calculating some figures for it's not their phone now, then it's a calculator. So that's how I look at it. And it's versatile enough. You know, right now many phones, not just the iPhone, you can shoot in 4K. You can even adjust, for example, on iPhone you can actually do 4K on 60 frames per second. And you know, 4K, we're talking about higher resolution. This one is limited to the 1080, which is HD, full HD, and D5300 is also limited to 1080, and so you can't do 4K on that. I bought the D5300 because I was going to shoot the Northern Lights, and to shoot the Northern Lights you needed to have a camera that could shoot very well in low light situations. I've noticed it also in some scenarios that it wasn't very good in low light. So these are the differences. But if you're going to just buy one camera and use it for your vlogging and everything, then the Canon EOS M50 would be a good choice. It's mirrorless. That's where everything is heading. No longer just the DSLR. We are moving now to mirrorless. That means you get very good quality even at this entry level. You're able to shoot 4K on this. The big difference used to be that with the mirrorless you did not have as many options to change the lenses. Now you do. I think it's coming up. Also, the Canon EOS M50 Mark II has the option of you actually being able to add a mic on top. The Lens 50 mic, very nice vlogging mic. You can always change this to use they call it, I don't know, the dead cat, or you know, in the when you're out there in the wind. This is still very good when you're inside, when it's not somewhere where it's very windy. I liked how it picked when I was talking with it. Then also change the lens, but off Just how you get it, it has an EFM lens which is 15 to 45. It's supposed to be doing f 3.5 to 6.3 aperture, which is okay. If you're going for higher quality, then you need to just change the lens on this and use that particular lens, which is better. So this has a detachable lens. This one doesn't. It comes with the lens as is. Compared to my D5300, this is much lighter. It's smaller. Right now I can comfortably carry it with the Coolpix digital camera. The D5300 is actually around just slightly above half a kg. So when you're carrying it, it can be slightly heavy. This is slightly under 400 grams. It's actually around 387 grams, which is a very nice weight. You know, you can always change even if you consider maybe the extra weight is coming from the tripod itself, you can always change that. You can use the different kind of tripods. It also has, obviously, when you're vlogging, you can be able to see yourself. There was a situation that occurred at the Museum of the Future. My cameras, all of them, the phones were dead. This had also, the battery was out, and I was forced to use the L820 as a vlogging camera. I just put it on the same stand. Obviously, I could not, it doesn't have an option for putting the extra mic. And I was more or less trying to shoot three of us. It was me and some two Kenyans I'd met, Steve and Eva, and I was trying to shoot them, and Eva was on this side. And you can see, because you can't keep monitoring how the shot is when you're talking to it, because it doesn't have the flip. See, so now I am trying to talk to it, and I don't know when the camera is more on me than on them. The setting that I put probably was just so, and also obviously over time you do get that weight starts becoming a problem. And so eventually when I looked at the video, I was so disappointed, because there are things that Eva said and I couldn't, and I think she suspected, and she would go, and when she would go, I don't know if I would turn when she went, or I tried not to turn. You know, it wasn't like instinctively that I turned it, but whenever she would go, she would check and she would think like she's there. But towards the end, she actually does say she doubted. She was doubting if she was actually caught properly in that shot.
You need to check that video if I was featured.
Or you might not have been featured. I've done interviews with it. It actually does a very nice take. When I do interview, it can be the main camera in the middle. When I do like a 3-camera setup during interviews, I decided mostly to put it on the main subject of the interview. I would use the camera to focus on them. And it really worked well. When I was shooting in one of the interviews, and we had put it in just a container, and the way it adjusted itself to be able to pick the subject I was shooting, it was very good. I mean, if you see now the difference between it and the DSLR shooting setting that I had put for myself, yeah, actually at times these are really just about settings of the camera, but if you perfect the settings, then you might discover that it becomes easier to shoot regardless of the camera. But still, there's a difference when you compare different cameras. Honestly speaking, it is easier to use this in the settings than some of the other cameras I've had. I think if you're starting out as a vlogger or a videographer, if you're growing from the phone, if you've been shooting with the phone and you want to go to a camera, I highly recommend the M50 Mark II, because the ability to shoot 4K, the ability to do time-lapse on it, the fact that it has a touch screen, you know, you can be able to change settings just like your phone. It's like on the phone. You can do different options for time-lapse, which is good. I like it, and I would tell anyone who's looking to get an entry-level good camera for shots. I mean, this is good for video and also for doing different shoots. Very nice. So that has been product review on Canon EOS M50 Mark II. Do let me know in the comment section if this kind of videos do make sense, and if you'll be able to pick one of these cameras if you've considered that. Until next time.